What's going on, folks? Painless morning. And I know it's been a while, but I just been taking care of things, living life in these crazy times that we in right now. Um, but things have been good, and I want to just give a shout out to people who have emailed me. I try to get to my emails. Um, Again, 41st Street, bruh at gmail.com. 41ST, common spelling street, BRUH at gmail.com. And I appreciate those. I try to get to those emails when I can. Let's get on into it. This is going to be kind of a sporadic video talking about various things that have gone on probably within the last month or two. Uh, and I'll say this. I've talked about cancel culture and how everyone gets so offended. People who are easily offended. And now what has happened is that has spilled over into people of my age and older. This type of behavior in terms of being easily offended, I expect from the younger crowd. Um, but, this whole like I said, it spilled over into where people just don't want to be left out, where people don't want to be the odd man out. I have social media, and I don't speak about politics. I don't speak about the latest trends. This is my outlet. Painless Risen. This is where I get it off my chest because I'm not that type of poster, if you will, giving my thoughts on every damn thing that is going on in every second. That's just not my style. That's not how I get down. I post things, but you'll never know my belief really on things. Cause shit, for what? This is my platform to, again, like I just said, get things off my chest. I'm not a habitual poster, and some people are, especially now where it's not a lot to do. You may be home, you may not be working right now. You have a lot of times on your hands, and I see this, I see this type of behavior mostly from women. These are the habitual posters, and no disrespect to the women that listen to me, but I expect the women that listen to me pretty much know how I receive and deliver things on topics. So what's understood doesn't need to be said, but just to qualify myself, because you have those ones out there, I put that out there. But a lot of women do this. These are the type of women, and they were doing this before this COVID. You have a lot of women that, and people, men too, because of this whole, men are more gossipy now, more woman-like. I expect that type of behavior from women, always wanting to know the latest tea on things. But these are the type of women that sit around and, they'll say, they'll say stuff like, well, I was rolling down the street and I saw so much trash on the street. What can we do about it? Get the trash. Or they'll ask questions that they could easily Google and look up. I see that a lot on social media. I see a lot of people asking questions just to ask questions, just to say, in my mind, hey, look at me. I'm asking a question. When you could have easily Googled that shit and be done with it. But people, we're living in an attention horse culture, cancel culture, clout chasing culture, where people just want notoriety and people want to be acknowledged. When this is in no other time in history, you can easily be acknowledged without being acknowledged. You can easily be seen without being seen. So to purposefully put yourself in positions, see, I roll low key. I try to roll low key. Like I said a moment ago, you don't need to know how I feel about politics, really. I don't use that platform to speak about politics. You don't need to know how I feel about COVID, okay? Again, this is my opportunity. This is my outlet. You know, the mere fact, and I'm going to give you a story. And when this became so apparent and obvious to me, I was in a group, and this is where I went kind of off my center. I said to people, and this was probably back in April when all this COVID really started, putting the funk to us. I said, because people were out of jobs, unemployed, to no fault of their own, understandable. And people were receiving benefits. And I said to myself, and this is how crazy, and this is how I know people got sense. You ever heard your grandmama or somebody say, that boy ain't crazy, he got sense. He be acting like he ain't got sense, but he got some sense. And see, this is how I know people be playing possum. Now, playing possum is you playing basically a possum in order to deter his enemies or predators that are trying to eat him. He or she will play dead, and then that predator, will either walk off or eat his ass or whatever. But the whole objective is that's a tactic the possum uses in order to keep from being eaten. So they play dead. And that's just something that we say in the South, you just playing possum. You acting like you don't know what's going on, but you know damn well you know what's going on. So that's what a lot of people say. So let me jump into it. I was in this group and I said, you know what? For people who have the ability to find some other type of work, rather than saying, well, the job laid me off, which if in America, you are entitled to unemployment benefits if you were laid off. Now, if your ass got canned, meaning you got fired, then no, you don't get any funds. You get no supplemental / unemployment funds. You don't get that. But if you were laid off, like millions of people were laid off months ago, people who are still being laid off, you're able to enjoy that entitlement. But I said, if you have the ability to work, if you have the ability to go find other forms of employment, why don't you do that instead of relying on this pandemic free-for-all, in which I work, but I got $1,200. I didn't ask for $1,200, and I wouldn't lobby for it. But hell, why? What do I look like sending it back? So my logic is that if you have the ability to work, why not go find some form of employment? Oh no, I'm not going to get none. See, and this is the argument that they used. And I was wondering, why are people getting defensive by me telling you this to go work when you was just working last week, but during this pandemic, you got laid off. So what happened between you getting laid off to no fault of your own, and now that you got this money, like what happened between then? Oh, well, it's the COVID. I'm not going to go out there and risk getting sick, and I just don't feel for my. I feel for my safety, so I'm going to stay home and collect this money. But my thing was if, and see, this is where you catch fools. I said, so what if you didn't get laid off from your job? Would you have quit your job because of COVID? Huh? See? Uh, see, you just want us to go out there, and get sick. You don't care. The government don't care about us. But would you have resigned from your position if management didn't get rid of you? See, I'm gonna take this money, and I'm gonna chill. But see, and I said, well, what happened when that runs out? What about the people that some people voluntarily just quit. Like management may have told them, hey, I knew a female that had to go back and forth from my state to Georgia to work. But it was other circumstances behind that. But she held on to her job. But she said a lot of people just said, forget it. And see, these same people who claim they are so scared of getting COVID and they going to collect this, they think this is a bottomless pit of money, and they're not looking in the long term. They're not setting themselves up for, because when you lose a job, especially if say you're like 51 and you lose a job, you have to start all over again. 401k has to be built back up. You're losing time in service, which means the longer you're out, like say you're out of work for 8 months, whatever job you're doing, that's 8 months you have to make up in life to secure some type of pension, if it's even there. But you're going to take this temporary money and sit on your ass and ask stupid ass questions on Facebook and you claim you don't want to catch COVID and COVID is I feel unsafe. But these are the same people that will gather up for barbecues, trying to hit the bars and shit like that, but you don't want to take your ass to work. And you using COVID as under the guise of COVID to as your excuse. And I say, and people got so mad. I even had a councilwoman of my particular era even chime in and kind of low key go against me. You see, it's that entire, and I couldn't understand what is so wrong with me telling folks, hey, I know you got laid off, but if you are able-bodied, go get you some employment in the meantime, because that's $600 damn a month, plus it's not going to help you. Now, if you can't find unemployment, then okay. But always be constantly looking for a source of employment. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a job. Some people are making money off COVID, i.e. making masks, things like that. Some people have really focused on their content in terms of like YouTube or Patreon or something like that. Great. But to sit on your ass and gossip, especially if you're a guy, I expect this from women to a certain extent, but if you're a guy and you just sitting up there and you able-bodied, meaning you got your limbs, your wits, your strength, You need to get your dead ass up and go get you some form of employment. And I couldn't understand. And then there was like, oh, well, it's COVID. But would you left your job? Would you still be there if your manager allowed you to stay on, even with COVID going on? And see, when you start asking simple questions, see, a lot of people don't have common sense now. And I know that sounds cliche because all sense ain't common. I get it. But when you start, people don't like when you ask them type of questions, boy. They get defensive because you know why? It it makes them have to see. People know what the hell they got to do. They know what they supposed to do, and it goes back to what I said. Like Mama Dear used to say, that's when you acting like you don't know what the hell going on. You know what's going on. You know what you're supposed to do. And then hell, don't get mad at me because I recognize what you're supposed to do. See, people don't like that. They don't like when you state the obvious. And when you start doing that, folks, you'll start noticing people stop messing with you. Because they like, oh, I can't pull this over Painless Eyes. He gonna tell me some stuff I don't really want to hear that I know I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't want to hear it. A lot of people are living like that now. They don't want to hear that they know what they supposed to do, and they low-key despise you for seeing through their BS and telling them. And, I just couldn't understand how they was just, people came at me, boy. They came from me. They came from my head, boy. But, I just kept going back. Then after a while, I said, forget it. And it was like a little project just to kind of see. But I didn't expect it to go that way because I thought folks had sense. Like, go to work if you can work. Your ass would still be at your job anyway. So why don't... But see, people want a handout. People want it easy. But you know what? But yeah, I thought that was real funny. A little social engineering, little experiment. But let me talk about this young man, FBG Duck, a rapper out of Chicago. And I don't usually talk about these fools like that. And I say he's a fool because it goes back to clout chasing. The internet can be so poisonous if you don't know how to handle yourself and don't get emotionally involved. Like, aside from not being a habitual poster, I'm damn sure that was one instance in what I gave you in that group. I told you, and I told them people they need to go back to work if they can. But outside of that, I do not argue with fools on the internet. I'm not going to go back and forth. I see stuff I don't like or that's questionable, I keep scrolling. But people will get into and this is like all these white folks out here, you running your mouth, talking this craziness, and then your ass is fired when you just said, oh, I support Blue Lives Matter. Or, you got a lot of people that's unemployed from running their damn mouth, saying slick shit. They have to get things off their chest so bad, and like I said, I do it, but this is my medium. This is me right here. This is my thing. I'm not all over with my name out saying, well, he shouldn't have resisted. Or, yeah, take him to jail, hang him up. And see, and this is how I've said about older people are even engrossed in this clout chasing. You just have to get what it is off your chest so bad to now your ass is 59. You was a director of nursing at whatever health facility. Now your ass is OCS on city streets. I mean, you know, you lost your job. You know, for no, because you had to just run your damn mouth. You had to say something so bad. I flip out at all these, and I'm about to go back to this young man, FBG Duck. Hold what you got. But people have to say stuff so bad. Like, people make these videos, and y'all see a lot of, Caucasian folks, these women making these videos saying, you know, what's wrong with black people? They're so entitled. Slavery was so long ago. And you can tell they make it up. They set up their little camera, and they just so... And I'm like, ooh, hate to see you in a week. Because you're going to be OCS. Because you had to run your damn mouth and clout chase and just let people know how I feel. I mean, just sit there and shut up, man. Girl, whatever, just stop running your mouth. You didn't have to do that. Now look at you. 10 minutes of ranting and raving cost you, say you was working there 16 years, cost your ass 16 years. 10 years, it's like the saying, what we used to say back in the day, like if you, especially as a guy, if you was messing with a girl that was under 18 and she was questionable, I'd be like, hey, I need to see some ID. Because 15 will get you 25 to life. A 15-year-old will get your ass 25, 50 to life. That's what I was saying back in the day. You know, I need to see some identification card on you. But anyway, back to FBG Duck. You know, this is a guy, that video got him taken out. I seen the video. It was very... I don't know what's up with any of my viewers from Chicago. I don't know what's up with Chicago youngsters out there. You know, that clout chasing, gang banging, who can diss who. That is so whack to me. But it cost this young man's demise, and it cost him his demise, and probably going to cost other people's lives because, again, clout chasing. And these youngsters will go so far as to get themselves killed. It's like this. It's like women, and guys have had a breakup with a woman. And he's like, I'm going to kill myself. And that's not the move, because what's going to happen is, it's like the ultimate selfish reaction. And you think you're getting back at that woman by offing yourself, when in actuality, she's going to forget about you. She's probably going to be shook up for like a couple months. Then she's going to forget about you, and she's going to be with someone else. But guess where you're at? Dead. And you thought you were doing something, and really not. You're just dead. All right? So it's this self-righteous act of trying to... so, Painless, what does that have to do with this social clout chasing? Well, these kids now will go so far as to say stuff to get themselves... This is what you see with all these challenge videos. Drinking bleach and setting themselves on fire. They want attention so bad that they're willing to harm themselves. Now, while FBG Duck didn't harm himself, he did harm himself. When you talk about issues, when you talk about very descriptive manners in which your ops or your opposition, your enemies, your rivals have died, and you low-key put yourself in that situation in which you might have actually done that killing, and then you put it out for the world to see, and you think there wasn't going to be no get back or no blowback, or you wanted to. Now, that video has over 5 million views, and it's 3 weeks old. And the only reason I don't listen to Chicago, they call it drill music. I don't listen to that garbage. But I would, for all intents and purposes of this young man being stretched out, I had to go see what the hell did he say. And he said a whole lot. Like, he was very disrespectful and extra, and it caused his demise. He probably knew it. But again, clout chasing, Tupacism, this whole wanting to be this, I want to die young so I can be immortalized. And I say to me, to people like that, they need to be forgotten and not immortalized. And it goes back to what I said about, I know we seen a video about George Floyd. Now, see what the media did with George Floyd. There was video footage of him resisting arrest, but the media took that shit down months ago. Now we're seeing what had transpired. And see me, I'm not going to immortalize that type of wrongdoing. I'm not gonna. I've never said anything about George Floyd on my social media, nothing like that. Breonna Taylor, in which there's speculation about that, a knock and whatever they call it, and I'm not condoning it. I'm just not going to be on the in crowd and say, look how down and black I am. By saying I support black lives. Oh, no, I ain't even going there with them. But I'm not going to support behavior just because someone's black and say all this and that. That's just not my style. I just sit off in the cut and I keep my mouth closed. That's what I do. Because the littlest things you could say, like I gave you the example of just saying go to work, that could be looked at as offensive. You want these people to go out and get sick? Well, shit. Would they have left their job if there wasn't no money from the government and this COVID shit was going on? Hell no. They still be up there. But see, when you start talking like that with sense, people don't think like that nowadays. So I'm over it. I'm about to go get me a cup of coffee. My coffee should be brewed right now. And about to kick back for a little bit. Y'all have a good day. Peace.